Well, if you saw the election, the entire country relates with Trump right now. Won all the swing states. The only states she won were the ones that you didn't need ID to vote in. It would have been interesting if you needed ID, how that would have played out too. I think that the whole country, it feels like somebody hit the reset button. Everything feels and
all the podcasters, so it seems like a lot of young men like relate well to Trump. So it's like just like how the fighters kind of related to him tonight.
So I've had this philosophy for the last 5 years that traditional media is dead, and it doesn't hold the influence that it used to hold. The two most hated people in this world right now are the media and the politicians. Nobody trusts them, and nobody believes them. And the true influence right now is with these kids that are on the internet, and they're called influencers. So I've been creating relationships with these people over the last, like I said, 4 or 5 years. And this election was won on the internet.
Mainstream media and the lefties are losing their absolute shit over this photo. Last night was the UFC fight. Donald Trump went. He took Elon Musk. He took his son. He took Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And for whatever reason, they took Mike Johnson. They got on Trump Force One, and they all sat down to a big old meal of McDonald. That face, though. And the backlash was fast and furious. He's gonna preach about health, but he's gonna sit down and eat McDonald's? So much for Make America.
Yes, these are the people who stood up for Trump, and it is always good to appreciate those who support you during winning times. CNN panels says Trump bringing out his top allies with him to UFC looks like ancient Rome. It really looks like ancient Rome. This is sort of a conquering Republican Caesar going into the Colosseum and everyone cheering him. CNN now is lacking talking point. They are just struggling to follow along. There is this photo of RFK. The mainstream media and liberals are marching down on social media like, I don't know if you've seen that. It is extremely important. I show you some of these videos. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do that. It will do you no harm if you share out this video.
He's flooded the zone with these picks and forced Republicans to choose. And I think it's interesting to me that he brought Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. to the UFC event last night. He is, frankly, giving, I think, supporter-based permission structure, and he's made these folks stars over the course of this campaign. I mean, in some ways, it's easy to view this, I think, through a different lens. Like, this is also just a person who won following through on campaign promises. He promised retribution, he promised vengeance, and he promised these kind of figures having prominent places in this administration, and he's delivering it. And for a lot of those supporters, that is the point of the Trump vote. And so I don't think that's the fullness of the electorate we saw on Tuesday. I think there, for a lot of people, they backed Trump probably as a rejection of the administration and weren't thinking of this as an endorsement of every single thing he's talked about. But for the hardcore base, the folks he listens to the most, they voted for Trump for the purposes of RFK Jr. riling the big pharma, right? And so what they are going to force those Republican senators to do is make a choice on those calls, and they will be doing so with the backing of the electorate. I don't think we could just say that they won't get through. I will believe it when I see it.
Yeah, and it really looks like ancient Rome here. This is sort of the conquering Republican Caesar who's going into the Colosseum, and everyone's cheering, and he's got his political gladiators with him. That appearance isn't just about him enjoying the applause. He's sending a message to the Senate.
For sure.
Like, not only are you entertained, but these are my people, and are you willing to fight? Because here's who I have.
And are any of us surprised by this? I feel like for anybody who has been covering Trump's campaign or his movement the past few years, these picks, sure, they're raising eyebrows, to say the least, but
familiar characters.
Yes, exactly. They've been with him at all these rallies. They've played a key role in where he's at now.
Yeah.
When I look at CNN now struggling to adapt to the whole thing, these same people, just few weeks ago, they were calling Trump Hitler. Oh, that is, you saw what happened at Madison Square Garden in this same location. How they turned the whole rally into a different things. This is a Nazi rally. It was everywhere on social media. I like the way this guy put it. Even TMZ is covering Trump like the old days, like he's a superstar, not Adolf Hitler. Honestly, I'm telling you, the media wanted him to win deep down. Maybe not the left-wing Juno staff, but the executive and editors, probably his rating machine let's be clear. Now that he won the popular vote and is clearly loved, expect more star coverage like this, though there will be suddenly be knives out for him in the usual suspect like WAPO, New York Times, and NBC.
Mainstream media and the lefties are losing their absolute shit over this photo. Last night was the UFC fight. Donald Trump went, he took Elon Musk, he took his son, he took Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and for whatever reason, they took Mike Johnson. They got on Trump Force One, and they all sat down to a big old meal of McDonald. That face, though. And the backlash was fast and furious. He's gonna preach about health, but he's gonna sit down and eat McDonald? So much for Make America Healthy Again. It sent me on a whole rabbit hole of McDonald. Because if you're like me, you grew up thinking McDonald's had human meat in it. That was before the internet was a crazy thing that everybody had access to for the most part. Now I want to make it clear I'm not out here just advocating for McDonald's. I'm a firm believer in moderation. Also, this is what we had. And this is what we got, so some of you can shut the hell up. Really? Turns out that the meat thing was completely fake. You can trace it all the way back to a Facebook post, which then traces it all the way back to a satire site, much like The Onion. Again, because we took everything that was put on the internet as gospel back then, we didn't really look into it.
And look who is now making his way to the world.
It's always loud when he comes here, but now that he's won, now that he's the president again.
Yes, I was extremely excited to see this happening. You know the true character of a person after he wins. Look at the people who stand by with Trump when he was campaigning, and look at them now showing up in this place. To me, this is history. I never believed that one day we'll be seeing this Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, Vivek, Elon Musk. In fact, it's only JD Vance that I've not seen here. That is clearly tells you the kind of people Trump is extremely happy to work with. His first term actually taught him a lesson. And when you see the freak out on social media, oh, Trump want to work with this person, oh, Trump what, but they don't understand how this came true. People were saying, oh, RFK should just do like that during the campaign. After Trump wins, he will kick him out. Look at this. Now they don't want to even look at these videos. Oh, they termed this place Madison Square Garden last time.
Got it.
Perfect. That's great. When do we do a family shot? You have to have a picture with you.
Haven't you noticed that Trump is surrounding himself with intelligent people, innovative people? Aren't you excited? I'm excited to see this. That's to tell you his second term will be totally different from the first.
Right? They're showing up everywhere with the president. Okay? I think Elon Musk has legitimately been hanging out with Trump ever since Election Day. Right? Ever since Election Day, he's been hanging out with Trump. Now, some people may be uncomfortable with that.
Mainstream media and the lefties are losing their over this photo. Last night was the UFC fight. Donald Trump went, he took Elon Musk, he took his son, he took Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and for whatever reason, they took Mike Johnson. They got on Trump Force One, and they all sat down to a big old meal of McDonald. That face, though. And the backlash was fast and furious. He's gonna preach about health, but he's gonna sit down and eat McDonald? So much for Make America Healthy Again. It sent me on a whole rabbit hole of McDonald. Because if you're like me, you grew up thinking McDonald's had human meat in it. That was before the internet was a crazy thing that everybody had access to for the most part. Now I want to make it clear I'm not out here just advocating for McDonald's. I'm a firm believer in moderation. Also, this is what we had, and this is what we got. So some of you can shut the hell up. Really?
Message of divisiveness, of xenophobia.
The way that the left speaks to its voters. It really is.
A message of joy and inclusiveness?
No, the message of not being educated, being dumb, and what's wrong with America. Yes, Sonny, why did they vote for him?
Yes.
In sweeping,
so they need to be introspective.
No, didn't resonate with the vote.
I agree about the Stephen Miller, and I think everyone at this table.
Holston, you want to know what's wrong with the American people, but I want to know what is wrong with you.